If you are an entrepreneur who has been frustrated by all of the changes on social media, and you know there's gotta be more to this life. There's a reason why you chose to be an entrepreneur. Well, this episode is going to show you how. This episode is going to talk all about the how-to for Convertkit. I'm going to talk about what Convertkit is, how long I've been using it, why I recommend it over other email marketing platforms, and why you should be on the Convertkit Creator Network. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice, I am Zaakirah. I am a creative brand strategist. So I have been an entrepreneur for over a decade. But I have gotten my start when MySpace was first starting, when Facebook was first starting. So I am one of the OG remote workers. I'm one of the OG creatives. And I'm one of the OG content creators. And so I have seen all of the changes over the past 10 years when it comes to changes of social media, how people are keeping in touch, how people are monetizing, and how people are having the freedom that they truly want in their life. And one of the things that I've been doing a lot is having strategy sessions. Now, although most of the women and BIPOC entrepreneurs that I work with are coming to me because they want content. They want their content. They want their business ideas simplified so that it gets out there and they have events, they have returning clients. But I've also noticed that there's a similar thread between burnout, right? I'm a cancer survivor, so I'm also big on mental health and emotional health. And so for me, I see it all the time of, there's a reason why people choose to work remotely. There's a reason why people choose to um, be an entrepreneur. But now there's so many tools out there. It wasn't like this 10 years ago, but now there are so many tools out there that make it so easy to the point where people really have information overload. So I wanted to share one of my favorite platforms. And I'm actually going to give you a sneak peek into my own platform so you can really get a feel for how you can use it yourself. And so I'm going to start from the beginning. Now, ConvertKit is a currently an email marketing platform. So email marketing means if you remember the days of um, postcards coming to your post office box, your mailbox, um, your newsletter at school. I was actually one of the newsletter editors in middle school and then again in high school. So the same way that you get information from your favorite store, your favorite school, your favorite media places, it's now anybody can do it for themselves as well. So ConvertKit has made it easy for specifically creative. Their niche has been creative. So like me, I started out as a photographer. And one of my first international trips, I was blogging, so I was writing and typing about my stories and my experiences. Then later on, it also opened up to I became an author in 2019, and I authored a book called Seeing Life Through a Different Lens. And so with that book came a podcast. So all of it is still creative means of storytelling. But aside from the old school method of, pitch and maybe get rejected to major media outlets or, try to collaborate with people who are already doing what you want to do, now it kind of there's a way to kind of coming a full circle with ConvertKit. And so ConvertKit also most recently, when it's not that email marketing platform for you to be able to send emails to your fans and your family, it now has a way for you to connect and be featured on other people's email newsletters. So there may be a couple of creators that I'm just gonna name drop that have been my favorite. I personally have always admired those women who have chosen the route of freedom, who have chosen the route of being a nomad, who have chosen the route to um, work remotely as an entrepreneur. And so I first found out about Convertkit because they chose to use that email marketing platform. They moved from MailChimp, they moved from what was then called Infusionsoft and now called Keep. They had moved from ClickFunnels to Convertkit. And so that's how I found out about it. And so now that I've been that was 2015, and now that here we are in 2023, I've had my fair share of sending emails from there, email hopping from different platforms, um, because one disclaimer I will say right now, a ConvertKit is not for free. They do so well at making sure that you earn money that it's completely worth the value. But I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And so ConvertKits create a network with creators so that other people's email network can grow. organically. Right now, social media is not so friendly with being organic. And organic meaning you don't see your friends or your family or your favorite creator post as soon as they post them anymore. You barely even see it 3 days later. And so that's where we need to get back to basics, a full circle moment of going back to blogs, having articles on our own websites, or having email being sent out to know that this article is on our website. So although, as you if you are this is for beginner, media, and intermediate, but I'm definitely gonna start from the beginning, especially for those who have never seen ConvertKit or you already are on ConvertKit and don't know about the Creator Network, especially if you are a BIPOC. I want to make sure that the people that look like me and sound like me are also on that network and monetizing their gifts. So the Creator Network was formed based off of the idea that you've already see already with Medium and then Substack, and both of those are platforms where people write articles, write thought leadership tidbits, and especially if you may see it on LinkedIn. But now it's just a matter of, okay, how can you own those email addresses, right? So although you may be seeing it on social media, I don't have direct access to you exactly. Sure, I may know your name when you leave a comment, but I don't exactly have direct access to you. And direct access is the same way where we used to have physical addresses, and the same way we used to have, um, mostly used to have phone numbers. But again, we're back getting back into that. So the phone numbers and the email addresses are currently the best way to have direct access to someone, and ConvertKit makes it super easy to do that. And so I am big on Convertkit because it catered to the creatives. It makes things so easy because right now we just want to create, we want to photograph, we want to write, we want to sing, we want to paint. And so thinking about the business side of things can really get overwhelming and cause a lot more anxiety and procrastination. So ConvertKit has really made it simple to just provide a lot of templates that you can easily follow in a very, very supportive community and customer service platform to help you really get started. So this video is just going to be showing you what it looks like as of now. There's other resources as well that you can check out as far as um, email marketing goes, as far as funnel. You may see me refer to that word a little bit, and as well as um, monetization, really. So for more information on ConvertKit, be sure to visit zaakirah.com/resources. ZAAKIRAHNAYYYAR.com/resources to get your 14-day trial on ConvertKit, to try it out and see if that's the platform, the email platform you do want to stick with. Or you can um, just actually click the link that is on this description to also be able to start your free trial right now to be able to try it out for yourself. All right, so now we are going to share the screen and I'm going to show you ConvertKit. All right, so first things first is the ConvertKit Creator Network. So this is the brand spanking new platform that they have, which is how you can be on other creators' email marketing networks, and they can recommend you. So the same way that we're always doing using word of mouth anyway to recommend our favorite hairstyles, our favorite grocery stores, our favorite restaurants, you can do the same thing for your email marketing creators. So these are just getting started. I officially started using it. I think it was maybe March 2023. But what you'll see is I actually came back to ConvertKit officially in November 2022 after, utilizing Mailchimp for a little while. So once you're in Creator Network, this is what it looks like. But I think what I'm going to do is go all the way to the very beginning. And so right now is once you have created your ConvertKit account, it'll take you to your dashboard first. And in your dashboard, the very first thing you're going to see is really the easiest place to, it's like, as soon as you first logged into Facebook, before it got all complicated and got on the stock market, the first place you saw was Facebook asking you to share what's on your mind. Same thing for Twitter and Tumblr. The first thing is for you to create a post. So there will be something in the upper right corner that says for you to create a broadcast, which is basically a new email newsletter, or to create a form, or to create a landing page, or to create a snippet, which is basically something for you to be able to reuse if you're going to say the same thing over and over. Because a lot of times that's what we're doing. We're repeating ourselves and saying the same thing over and over. Or if you're a bit more advanced and a bit more on the graphic design side, you can actually use make your own template. So right now, this is as far as I'm going to show you on the dashboard because it'll show you the first thing you see is if you got any new subscribers in the last 30 days and who they are, what their email addresses are. And also the newest feature is it'll show you where it came from. So if it came from the Creator Network, it'll have this thing at the bottom that says it came from the Creator Network. Which basically means from the first page I showed you that someone actually searched for your name or the name of your email and it's recommending you so that when they get new subscribers, it shows up saying here are a few other people similar to the newsletter that you just subscribed to that are also talking about the same thing that I highly recommend. So right now, this is just my email performance in the last 90 days. Because again, I'm not quite consistent with it because I'm focused a lot of time on making sure that my fellow BIPOC and women creators are utilizing Convertkit and monetizing. But I'm slowly but surely getting back to my own email performance. But just so you know, anything over 30% of an open rate, which is how many people are actually opening your emails, is really good. And so then it can take you to an option to take you right to your broadcast. So then we're looking at broadcast. And so broadcast is basically the latest emails that you actually got to send. And so it'll show you the names of them and when you sent it, the time, especially the times on your end, how many people received it. That's what recipient mean, how many people opened it. I don't think it'll you have to open this specific and it'll give you all kinds of data that you actually need. And so again, because I started to move from MailChimp over to ConvertKit, it's gonna naturally happen where it'll make room for the people who actually want to learn and see your email and your email in their inbox. Um, so then when you create a new broadcast, this is where it'll show up with your templates. So when you create a new broadcast, this is where you can just create it. By default, you already have a certain template. Because if you go over to the option that says to browse templates, you can choose the template that you already use. And so by default, it'll show you the ones that you've already started using often. But then they have a whole library of templates to match your tone of voice, your personality, your favorite brand colors, the whole shebang. And so the difference though is if you are starting on the free version, they're only going to have access to a few of the templates. But if you are going to choose to pay the $29 a month version so that you can have access to the Creator Network, you have a lot more options as far as templates go. And so once you do that, you have the option to, create your broadcast. And so what I'm going to do is go to one of the latest broadcasts that I sent and show you how there is an option to, even if you have already been using ConvertKit, you've already been sending emails, how you can make sure that people can now see your email publicly as if it is your own Medium, your own LinkedIn, your own Substack. So what I am going to do is click on the email and you can see the hint when it says the word public that also lets you know that it's actually for everybody else to see and not just your subscribers. And so then if you go over to the bottom where it says enabled on public feeds, that's what that means. It'll show up on your ConvertKit, ConvertKit Creator Network. And so now, while we're here on the Creator Network, the most important thing is to make sure that you have your recommendations on and your creator profile created. So there's several ways. This is where it's super important if my recommendation first is to make sure you are at that point where you know who you are serving. You know what audience you are serving and what problem you are solving, because that would make it really, really make all the difference in the world when it comes to who you're recommending. So for me, I'm right now a branding and marketing therapist, although that I will um, teach you how to, utilize your brand and tell your stories in a certain way. I'm also going to talk about all things creative. And so if we go over to the profile, this is actually what it looks like when people go to it. And you're welcome to type this in, and this is where you're welcome to send people my way as well. It's going to be most likely the name that you created when you created your account. Um, .ck, which is Convertkit, .page. And so this is the most important part, to make sure that you have the bio, which gives people the idea of, okay, what are they going to get when they see your emails, and who are you? Why should I sign up for your email? And so this is where they get to see the last email that was sent. And it's super important to make sure that you have a photo, even if you are just going to be a text based, or you're only going to have embedded videos. Make sure you have one photo that kind of gives people an overview. Um, and then over here with the links, every website right now has its own link tree. And although I recommend starting on your website, this is another place to have it, where people can find you on all the social media networks, or if you have a podcast, or you have a YouTube channel. Send people wherever you want to send them. And then there's the recommendations. Remember, you saw a few of the other creators who also have emails on ConvertKit. Remember, you must have a ConvertKit profile, but you also must have the paid version of ConvertKit. But why should you pay for it? Don't worry, I'll get into that in a second. But this right here, we can choose the top 5 email subscribers that they will see when you subscribe. Now, for me, I'm definitely going to address this a little bit, because I'm all for team people of color, and I think I want to make sure that oh, sorry, this is the public version, where you can choose, yeah, I want to subscribe to all of these people. I trust you, I trust your opinion, and these are people who I actually want to learn from. So I'm going to subscribe to them too. But when you're on the inside of it, of the converter network, um, you, sorry, I'm going to go to discover. And then on the discover page where you see all of the creators. Now remember, once your profile is created, make sure recommendations are turned on. That's the only way other people can follow your email as well. So going below it, where you can search by what type of creative are they. And so this is super important when you're creating your creator profile, to know which one of these are you. So let's start with photographer. I'm just doing what I'm related to. I'm related to photographers. I'm related to podcasters. And I'm also a marketer. And so as you see it getting narrowing down. And so for me, remember how I said I'm all for team, BIPOC. So I'm like, oh, here's a person of color. So I'm going to start recommending. But if I'm not sure if that's what I want to do, you can also just bot, which you're going to open it up in a new tab. And it's super helpful when you have people whose profiles are completely set up. So remember how I showed you how, for me, I have my name, I have a big bio, I have my recommendations, my links, and the posts. So that's super important to make sure that people know that they want to subscribe to yours. um Trying to see what else is super helpful for you to know. Let me do my recommendations. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is where you can customize or add the creators. So in the settings, I'm going to hop over to the landing page section in a second. You can also make sure that when, no matter who subscribes to your email newsletter, that they're subscribing to your 5 favorites as well. It's almost like, again, a full circle moment of social media. You remember your top 5 in MySpace? Well, now it's the same thing, but for your emails. And there is another option I haven't finished yet, but there's another option where you can actually get paid. Um, the same way I have my referral link for you to, I may get a commission if you choose to stick with ConvertKit after the 14-day trial. There's also another way where you can get paid for recommending other people's email newsletters. So you can always add creators, but So now I'm going to start with clicking on one of the profiles that I know is already set up. So you have an idea of another page to kind of refer to of how to set up yours. And so the last post that they sent, or at least chose to include publicly, will be featured on here. And so going back to the ConvertKit version inside my account, um, you can customize everything to make it your own language, and you can choose who's all in what part. And remember, that's the paid option. Okay, so that's the creator network, and that's why you need to be on it. Make sure your profile is set up. Make sure you use that as your new link tree to send people so that you can have a sense of entrepreneurs ownership and a sense of freedom when you're operating your email. Now, I'm going to go back over to all of the tabs in ConvertKit. Because I'm sure if you're new to ConvertKit, you're like, well, what's all in there? Why should I sign up for ConvertKit? So we already took you to subscribers. So subscribers, I'm not going to go into that right now because I got my people's emails in there. But subscribers is where you get to see everyone who did subscribe, and you can make it as detailed as possible to know their location, why they subscribe, what they're interested in. You can just organize it by tags or segments. Which is super helpful because for me, like I said, I would talk about photography. I have people on my email list that know me from my photography days. There are people on my list who were my marketing client. There are people on my list who signed up to specifically hear um, or receive the email when I have a new podcast episode out. Or they're just you can have so many different subcategories for emails. And so that's what would be in the subscriber portion. Now, landing page, I think I can take you there now, is where, I've had ConvertKit for so long. And what's so brilliant is that although I stepped away from ConvertKit for about 3 years, I didn't lose anything at all. So I have all these different versions of um, landing page, and it'll tell you a conversion rate. Now, right now it's not accurate because, like I said, I left ConvertKit to go to MailChimp for a second, so that doesn't make any sense at all. 1,900 visitors, like no, that doesn't make any sense at all. So, um, this is where you can create a landing page, and this is where you can send people to sign up either specifically for branding, about photography, about your music, about your food, whatever it is that you actually will be doing. Because again, it's not accurate because I'm not using it right now, but I will be after this. I just sent you to the creator network, so let me go to the creator profile. Remember the part where I said you should make sure that people know exactly who you are and where to find you everywhere on social media. So, and then this is super important as well. And so, there's a few tricky steps where you have to make sure that your posts are enabled on the other side, which is under the broadcast side, which is where I showed you where you can make sure that it stays public. But enable your post, enable your link. The links is that link tree version that I showed you. You can enable products. Right now, I haven't gotten there yet. So I would take you to the product section to show you what that means. Oh, I don't have to. So I started to create a product. And so what you can do once you're in ConvertKit is under the Earn tab, where you can create your digital product. And so I have the ebook version right now started. It's a draft, but right now, again, I'm making all these changes because I just officially started this in March 2023. But you can have the ebook, any one of your ebooks or guides right there in ConvertKit. And it'll connect automatically to a platform called Stripe, which is where you can easily it's been making so many changes since 2015, but you can easily accept payments, send invoices, receive automatic membership, automatic subscription to anything. So that's what product is, and then recommendations is once again the other people. But this is only what you see the once you're in the back end of your creator profile. So make sure that you spend time in the creator profile. That should be the very first thing you do. As soon as you get your paid um, your paid version of ConvertKit, go straight to creating your creator profile. Now, speaking of earning money, since you're like, okay, well, I don't want to be paying $29 a month if I'm not going to get anything from it. Well, one of the best features that I love so much is the automations. So we'll start with visual automation first. And there's that word funnel again. So funnel is the same way where you take all your big ideas, all your big products, and you narrow it down into one thing. And so then you'll get a client from having this one specific automation. And so there's a whole nother, segment of a YouTube video, of a podcast, of a blog post of how to really choose your automations. But there's again, ConvertKit is super helpful to make sure that you have resources and templates to refer to in case you're completely blanked out. And so this is what I love. I spent a lot of time strategizing with music artists to make sure that they are making sure that people know about their new music. And so this has been super amazing to see that they have templates already there for people. So you see sequences, product, and landing pages. So now we're going to go over to rules. So if this, then that. So it's the same thing of that's what Zapier is. That's the same thing of trying to think of other websites that you may know about. I think current CRMs, if you use or hear of Dubsado, or Honeybook, as soon as people contact you, that's why there's the brilliance of making sure that even making money in your sleep, making sure that it's on, so that as soon as people contact you, they take them to all the different avenues, whether they want to go north, south, east, or west, and they take them to the right place. And so, like I said, I'm just not getting back to it, but I used to have it a lot when I had my photography e-course, and my podcast as well, and especially a bunch of master classes too. So those are the rules. And then integrations is brilliant because it's already so difficult that we're everywhere right now, just on all different platforms, and now you can integrate it with all of the things. So all of the things that you already use, especially Stripe, especially Squarespace, especially Teachable, and especially if you already have a WordPress website. So Zapier, remember what I was shared of, if that's what you're already using for automating or doing the if this then that for where giving the cardinal direction of where you want your customer to go, you can integrate it. And so they have many more integrations coming soon, but these are the basics and the most easiest ones to kind of keep it all in one place. And then we're going to go over to RSS, which is my favorite paid feature because I am a podcaster. I don't even have to worry about, well, like I said, I just started using it again, but I don't have to worry about when my podcast was going out. Well, I used it from a blog first when I was writing heavily, actively doing a blog before I even converted to becoming a podcaster in 2019, where automatically people will get the summary of my podcast episode, right? And I've seen other marketers do it to summarize their Slack, integrate it with their Slack and send, a summary of your recent Slack messages. So that's automation. That's going to be the best part about ConvertKit. And then the second part, um, if you remember the days of Buy Me a Coffee, there was this website, it's very popular. People still use it. It's similar to Patreon and Kickstarter, where you want people to tip you, right? Or they want to tip you regularly to receive the content that they're paying for, right? So you can have a tip jar. You can also have your own digital products. And then I'm going to take you to that actual page where you're actually see what it looks like. And then of course you can see your earnings, like how much have you returned. And again, I haven't set it up, so it's not there for me, but it'll show up for you. So this is where I started to put my ebook out there. This is where you'll set it up, create a new product, and you have all the options of what kind of product is it? How many times can they download it? Are they subscribed? So this is perfect if you are, wanting to get into the coaching world. You're an expert at what you do, and people are already coming to you wanting to pick your brain. And this is how you can make sure that they are choosing you regularly. And now we're going to go over to, I think the very, very last thing is the learn. Now they are so good with already having the standard operations and procedures about if you have any questions about anything beyond what I'm able to teach you or whatever you come to me to teach you with. They have a very helpful um, um, help page, basically support page. So most popularly, it's probably going to be the Creator Network, where you're similarly wanting to migrate from Mailchimp. Why should I use this? Why am I using the Creator Network? All of that stuff. So I think that's pretty much it. Um, that is ConvertKit, and then yeah, if you have any other questions, be sure to leave them in a comment, or go ahead and send me a message. I'm very social on social media, and you can find me on social media at Illuminus1, which is the meaning of my middle name, which is Naya. And I look forward to helping you to really get to that point of freedom, because I'm fully aware that we're at this point where um, the Black women are suffering the most when it comes to having that sense of freedom that they really want. And if you really just you take all your decade of experience as a teacher, as a creative, um, as a community builder, and start with this email. The easiest thing for you to do, especially if the question in your mind is like, okay, I want to do this, but what's the first email that I even send out? Introduce yourself. Have Jay-Z song in your mind, and reintroduce yourself. And always start there so that people know exactly who you are. And especially if there are those who are like me, where if I can easily, when I help my clients narrow down their message of what they do and who they're going to serve, because I have so many amazing creative that do so many different things just like me. But if I'm able to help them narrow it down, then it makes sense for me to be able to recommend them to other people who are looking for their services or their stories to be heard. So thank you for watching. And if you want any more resources, be sure to go to zakirah.com/resources. And I look forward to helping you to